A lot of people have great ideas, but very few take action. And these 3 principles are the things that I've executed to go from a broke freelancer making just $500 a month to now running a business and making over $10,000 a month in just the last 10 months. It's what they don't teach you in school, yet it's the most important things you need to know in order to be successful in business. The first thing, you're too scared of failure. Failure is kind of embedded into us from a young age that it's a bad thing and it shouldn't be sought after. Because when you come last in a running race at school or you get an F on your classwork, we're told that that's a bad thing. But when it comes to business, it is the complete opposite, and failure is an absolutely necessary step to get to where you want to be. And if you think about it, when have you heard stories of someone who started their first business and they were successful straight away? Or if they were lucky enough for their first business to be the one that's successful, how long did it take until they got there? You see, the principle here is that the cost of failure is actually the price of admission. Now, I've been failing for many years now, and the first thing that I tried was launching an e-commerce business that was selling resistance bands. And when I told my family that and my friends that, everyone thought I was going to fail and everyone was telling me it was a bad idea. And it cost me money. I put money into it. And ultimately, you could look back and say that was a failure from the outside. And all of these people are probably going to be happy with that. They're probably going to be happy that they were right and it was a failure. But everything I learned from that experience gave me so much more than my $30,000 university degree ever did. And that was just the first of many failures that I had that helped me learn about business and learn about operations and learn about all these different things that you just can't learn through watching YouTube videos or through learning at school. And I think the biggest thing that comes with failure is actually being okay with spending money on these things. You always hear it from other people. You need to invest in yourself and think of it as that. It's an investment into your learning. You'll spend $30,000 on a university degree and not bat an eye. But if you spend a couple $100s on something to try and learn and try and figure it out, everyone's looking at you like you're stupid, and you start to feel that and you start to not want to take that risk anymore and not want to fail. But that is absolutely needed to be successful in business. And once you figure out that failure is an absolutely necessary step to success, this second point is the thing that really gets you going. So now we understand that failure is necessary, but you can't fail if you don't do this second thing. And that's actually trying and not giving up. And I know that that's cliche and it's, kind of simple, but it's absolutely necessary. If you don't try and you don't actually take the risk, you can't fail. And so in order to fail, you need to actually try. Now, I heard this principle once, I think it was from Hormozi probably, where if you could guarantee that on the 100th no, you were going to be successful, how quickly would you want to get through those first 99 no's? You'd want to ask questions, you'd want to get the no, you'd want to get rejected, you'd want to fail. And you would keep trying, knowing that when you get to the 100th no, that's when you're going to take the big ticket and you're going to be successful. And so that is necessary in business as well. Now, I'm not saying you should go into something expecting to fail. Obviously, you want things to succeed, but being okay with failure and trying to fail in a way, trying to make something happen, and potentially it works, potentially it doesn't, is necessary. And I want to reel off all the things that I've tried in the last 5 years to get to where I am now. The first thing I tried was selling resistance bands on Amazon. Now, this was back in 2019, 2020, and Amazon was pretty fresh when it came to Australia. And so I thought this was a new opportunity to sell in an area that was going to be popular. And I got a couple of sales. I managed to figure it out. I managed to learn how to talk to suppliers in China, how to ship things to Amazon, how to run ads, how to do SEO. And all of that gave me so much learnings, but everyone would see that as a failure because I spent $3,000 to $4,000 on all these products, some of which I still have today. And it wasn't successful. I didn't manage to sell them all. I didn't manage to make a new order. And so people will see that as a failure. But I also managed to learn so much throughout. I made a little bit of money. And at the end of the day, it cost me the same as one university subject. And I learned so much more from that and actually trying than I did at uni. After that failed, the second thing I'd try was drop shipping. I wanted to do this now without having to order $3,000 to $4,000 worth of products from the get-go. And so I tried drop shipping. I managed to get one sale and I realized I wasn't allowed to do it because I was selling something that was sold by another company. Anyway, in essence, failure, but I learned. And from there, I started freelancing, and freelancing for me was making websites, was running ads, was doing SEO. And so I learned so much doing this whole process. And again, you could see this as a failure because I wasn't successful. I only managed to get 1 or 2 clients at any given time. I wasn't paid very much and it wasn't a full-time thing. I was trying to make it, but it wasn't a full-time thing at this stage. Then through my freelancing, that developed into a web design company, which again was a failure. I made like 1 or 2 websites as a result of that. I ordered a bunch of signs, which I still have, and ultimately I ended up failing. That then transitioned back into a digital marketing company as a whole. So I was doing web design again and ads and everything. But again, it was a failure. I was talking to nobody by doing that, and I was just trying to do everything, basically trying to make any money. And now my 6th business that I'm working on now is my SEO studio, which I've been doing for over 12 months now, and it's actually been quite successful. And the reason that it is because of all those failures and all those learnings that I had previous to this. I learned so much through that whole process that has made this business so much better, so much more systemized and actually successful. And so ultimately you need to try, you need to fail. And that leads us on to the 3rd step, which is learning. Have you ever tried to learn a new skill and you watch all these YouTube videos or maybe buy a little course or something like that, and you just watch and watch and watch and you think you're learning, but then when you actually try to do the thing, you have no idea what you're doing, or you don't even try in the first place. And so the 3rd step that is so important is actually learning from failure and learning from trying. And so with all those previous examples that I just said, each one of those gave me a new lesson and a new learning that I took onto the next. And it will continue to do that for me. I'm going to continue to learn about business, how to operate, how to run ads, how to get more customers, and all these different things, which again is not going to be possible through watching YouTube videos or through learning on a course. You need to actually get your hands dirty, try it out, and you need to learn as a process. And there's so many different examples of learning. It's not necessarily learning how to run a business, but it's also the technical side of things. It's setting up an ABN, or it's getting registered for GST, or it's learning how to invoice a client that's on the other side of the world. These are all things that I've had to learn as a process of running my businesses. And when you're in the moment, you have no idea how to do it. I can watch videos on it, but I have to actually do it, and you have to actually put it in process to learn. And now that you've done all those things, I can set up a business, an ABN, I can register for this, I can do all these different things, and I know how to run ads and do SEO and all of the stuff that I've learned through all my ventures and not through a university degree. And so at the end of the day, I wanted to make this video to show that you don't have to be an expert to start. And in fact, you shouldn't be. If you are successful on your very first try and you are successful with your very first business, then I guarantee that you waited way too long to start that business, and you waited way too long to actually try. Because I'm sure that if you were successful now, you could have started 3 to 5 years ago, learned some things on the way, and be even further ahead than you are now. And that's the benefit of working for yourself and being an entrepreneur, is things aren't linear. You can exponentially grow, and I'm starting to experience that myself, and I'm sure that a lot of you are going to start to experience that as well if you follow these 3 principles. And so remember, all you have to do is fail, try again, learn, and start before you're ready.